Today we will start with the introduction of kinematics of machines. So we all know that. So before going to the kinematics, we will discuss about what is the kinetic, what is the then what is the static. Then after that, kinematics and dynamics. Okay. So if consider any machine components, there will be some relative. Some components have the relative motion to each other. Some component are the supporting component. Okay. So that's only we are going to, when we are analyzing the machine components, we are going to analyze in the two method. One is the dynamic and another one is the, one is the kinetic and another one is the static. Okay, static means analysis of the components which are have the stationary, means those who are not have any relative motion to each other. Okay, so kinetic means we are going to study about the component which are having the relative motion. Okay, then again in kinetic we are going to classify into two types, that is the kinematics and dynamics. Okay, first basically static and kinetic. So static means that is the component doesn't have the relative motion to each other. Examples are structures. Okay, structure components that doesn't have the relative motion to each other, that will only transfer the forces, that won't transfer any motion. So examples, bridges, buildings, okay, even lathe bed, that are the supporting devices. In class also explained. In bridges, the columns or pillar, what we are going to say, that will have the some distance, but the entire in the bridge, when the vehicle is moving, that load will transfer to the, that force will transfer to that column. Okay, so that we are going to that is the reason we are going to say that in the structures the forces will transfer, the motion will not transfer. Again, when we come to the kinetic, so the component have the relative motion to each other. There, in kinetic, there the both force and motion will transfer. So that examples are machines. Any machine components that is having the transfer of both motion and forces. Okay. Again, when analyzing the machine component, then we will classify into two types. That is the one is the kinematics and another one is the dynamics. Okay. Kinematics means the study of motion, position, velocity, acceleration of the component, okay, without considering any forces, that we are going to count as the kinematic. When come to the dynamics, there we are going to analyze the machine components of with respect to forces, inertia, centrifugal forces, moment of inertia, like that. So the component, we are, when we are going to analyze the component by considering the forces, inertia, and all the parameters, that we are going to count as the dynamics. Is it clear? So now we will go to the kinematics parameter. So in this subject, we are going to analyze the machine components in kinematic parameter only. So I hope you got the idea. Kinematics, here we are going to analyze only position, velocity, and acceleration of the machine component. Okay. So in machine component, so first we are going to consider the mechanisms and machines. We should know what is the mechanism, what is the machine. Okay. When you are considering the machine, so we know that when we are defining the machine, so we are going to define like the machine consists of number of parts which are having the relative motion to each other. Okay, then we transmit the motion from one component to another component to achieve the required output. Okay, so now in the mechanism, it is the system designed to transmit the motion. So in machine, when you are transmit the motion and energy or forces, so we need to design the system to transmit that motion. Okay, that design we are going to call as the mechanism. That design or principle of the machine we are going to call as the mechanism. Okay, so a machine system designed to transmit both motion and energy. Okay, means forces. So now basic mechanism the includes greater system, cam and follower system, linkages, so multiple moving parts. Example, simple hinge doors doesn't have qualify as the mechanism. Okay. So next, when come to the, so mechanism means four bar mechanism, slider crank mechanism, cam and follower mechanism, gears also one of the type of mechanism. These are the different types of mechanisms. When come to the mechanism, the basic parameter is link. Okay, so link a rigid body with two or more nodes or joints means which is used to connect the other rigid bodies. Okay, a rigid body with two or more nodes or joints that are used to connect to other bodies to transmit the motion. Why we are going to call this as the rigid body? Because so when we are consider when it is transferring the motion, so the we are going to consider there is no deformation of the component, because the here we are studying only motion, velocity, or acceleration. So here we are not considering any forces, but when it is undergone the force, so definitely that component will get deformed. Okay, so when we are selecting the component only, we are going to consider as the rigid body. There is no deformation. If deformation occurs, we can't achieve the particular position. Okay, that's only we are going to consider. Link is the rigid body. We have the different types of link: binary link, ternary link, quaternary link. So binary we are going to use to connect the two rigid bodies. Ternary link, which is used to connect the three rigid bodies. Quaternary, which is used to connect the four rigid bodies. Okay. Another thing is joint, a connection between two links that allow the motion between the links. Okay. There is the connection of the two links that we are going to call as the joint. Okay. The motion allowed may be rotational, translation, sliding or prismatic joints, combination of two rolling, roll, slide, or cylindrical joints. Okay. So next, another main important parameter is kinematic pair. Okay, a kinematic pair or simply a pair is joint of two links having the relative motion to each other. Okay, so it is the joint of two links having the relative motion to each other, or we can say that how it will transmit the motion. Okay, or how the relative motion that kinematic pairs have. Based on that, we are going to classify the kinematic pairs. Okay, before that, one more parameter is kinematic chain. A assembly of link and joints used to coordinate an output motion with an input motion. Or simply, in simple word, we can say that all the links are connected together. Last link is connected to the first link. That's only we are going to. We are going to say that. So output to output motion with an input motion. Okay, na? So is it clear? Okay. So next is we will move to the kinematic types of kinematic pairs or classification of kinematic pairs. So I told that the kinematic pair or simply pair is joined to links having the relative motion. Okay, relative motion to each other. When we are going to classify, so we are going to classify based on how the relative motion of two links have. Okay, how that links will transmit the motion from one link to another link. Based on that relative motion, we are going to classify. Okay, so types of kinematic pairs are we are going to classify kinematic pairs according to nature of contact, nature of mechanical constraint, nature of relative motion. Okay, the first one, kinematic pairs according to nature of contact. First is the lower pair. A pair having the surface or area contact between the members is known as lower pair. The contact surface of the two links are similar. Okay. For example, nut turning in the screw, shaft rotating in the bearing, all pairs in slider crank mechanism, universal joint. Okay, which are having the surface contact or area contact. Okay, that we are going to call as the lower pair. Okay. So next is higher pair. So when the pair has the point or line contact between the links, it is known as higher pair. Okay, so here the contact surface of the two links are dissimilar. Why it is similar and dissimilar means, for example, you can consider slider crank mechanism. So in the slider will slide inside the slider will slide on the slider. Okay, so here sliding in the sliding surface is also flat and slider surface is also flat. So that's only surface is contact surface is similar. Here The contact surface is dissimilar means the pairs have the pointer line contact. Means, for example, you consider ball or rollers. Okay, ball is rolling on the surface. It is having the only point contact, right? Okay, in that case, the surface of the ball is circular, but flats, what we are going to, the ball is rolling on that one, that is the flat. Okay, even the roller also, the roller is rolling on the flat surface means the rolling surface, roller surface is circular, but flat surface is the flat one. Okay, so that is the reason we are going to consider as the surface of the two links are dissimilar. Okay, higher pair means point or line contact. Lower pair means surface or area contact. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. So
Yes, sir.
next is, so example, wheel is rolling on the surface. Surface cam and followers pair, tooth gears, ball and roller bearings, etc. Okay. So next is kinematic pairs. Kinematic pairs according to nature of mechanical constraint. Am I audible? Okay, so here constant there we are going to consider closed pair. See, before going to know the closed pair or open pair, okay, so we should know what is that constant. Means how we are going to keep the contact between the two surface. Okay, that is the constraint. Okay, so means when the two components have the relative motion to each other, if you want to transmit the motion from one link to another link, they should have the contact. Okay, how we are going to maintain the contact? There, when we are going to maintain the contact, that we are going to classify the mechanical constraint into three types. One is the completely constrained, partially constrained, and uh, unconstrained. Okay, so here unconstrained means the component doesn't have the contact. We should have the force to contact. Okay, by using spring or some other extra mechanical component, we should we should keep the contact always. Means we require additional component to keep the contact. Okay, partially constrained means, for example, some of the cases the component have the contact, some of the cases it may be lift. For example, wheel is rolling on the road surface. Due to some forces or some obstacle, it may lose the contact. Means it will come up and it will again come down. Okay, that we are going to count as the partial constraint. Means there is no restriction for the opening. Is it clear? There is no restriction from lifting from the surface. Okay. So best example is you in your bike. So you are riding the bike on the road surface. So now due to the weight of the bike, it is having the contact with the road. Okay. So if, for example, you got sudden hump, so you are not reducing the speed, means it will jump for certain small fraction of second. It will jump and again it will have the contact. Means there is no restriction to come out from that contact. Okay, but due to the self weight, it will keep the contact. Okay, that is we are going to count as the partial constraint. Okay, and completely constraint means it is always having the contact due to some reason. For example, piston inside the cylinder. Okay, so you can't. It is always having the contact, right? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now based on that one, we are going to classify closed pair and open pair. Closed pair means when the elements pair are held together mechanically, it is known as closed pair. The contact between two can only be broken when only by destruction of at least one member. Okay, all lower pairs or some higher pair have the closed pair. Means here always it is having the contact. Okay, it is having the contact. So if you want to remove the contact, means you should break the any one member. Like it is the completely constrained pairs. Okay, and another one is unclosed pair. Here, when the two links of the pair pair are in contact either due to the force of gravity or some spring action. Okay, some due to the force of some spring action, we are going to consider that as the unclosed pair. Both partially constrained and unconstrained mechanical component, we are going to consider it will comes under the unclosed. Completely constrained, which will comes under the closed pair. Okay, na? Okay, here partially means due to the force of gravity, it will have the contact, and some spring action means in open pair we are going to unconstrained in unconstrained motions. There we are going to use some additional component to keep the contact like springs. Okay, so that kind of contribute the unclosed pair. In this link are not held together mechanically. Mechanically, they are not have the not manufactured to have the contact all the time. So it will have the contact due to the additional components or due to the forces. For example, cam and follower, what we have, I told you, road and bike wheel on the road surface. These are comes under the unclosed pair. Bike wheel, due to the force of gravity, it will have the contact. Okay, mechanically that are not held together. Is it clear? Okay. Next important types classification is kinematic pairs according to the nature of relative motion. The first one is sliding pair, means the two links are having the sliding motion between each other. Okay, that we are going to call as the sliding pair. Okay, so then turning pair, the link, the two links having the turning motion to each other. For example, here the slider will slides. Okay, for example, piston and cylinder have the sliding motion, that will comes under the sliding pair. Turning pair, when that it is rotating. For example, shaft is rotating inside the bearing. Okay, but there is no axial motion. Okay, so third one is the cylindrical pair. Here both that is having the both cylinder turning and sliding motion. Okay, here only turning, here only sliding, here both turning and sliding motion. Okay, so next is rolling pair. Absolutely, ball is rolling on the surface, ball or roller. Okay, our wheel is rolling on the road surface. That we are going to call as the rolling pairs. Okay, so here next one is screw pair or helical pair. It is the having the motion between like a it is like a sliding motion only, but when it is moving, it will give us 2 degrees of freedom. Means, for example, screw jack. When you are rotating the screw, the jack will move up and down. Okay, na? Lever will move up and down. So that we are going to in this will achieved in the cutting machine threads on 2 links, lead screw in your lathe, your shredded lathe. When the lead screw rotates, the carriage will move left and right. Okay, that we are going to call it even nut and bolt. When you are going to rotate the bolt or nut, so the bolt will move up and down. Correct? So next is spherical pair. It is like a what we can say that in your have seen the joystick. So it will have the all 6 degrees of freedom. Okay, it will have the it will rotate in all 3 degrees. So that we are going to call it as the spherical pair. Okay, best example, joystick. So you can move the component in any direction. Okay, these are the different types of kinematic pairs. Okay, next is I told you. So degrees of freedom. So an unconstrained rigid body moving in a space can be described in independent motion when you are going to consider the degrees of freedom. Okay. So degrees of freedom, generally you can say that the number of independent coordinates required to specify the motion. Okay, so that we are going to call as the degrees of freedom. But when come to the kinematic parameter, we are going to say in other words like independent, how many independent motion is required to describe the component, moving component, that we are going to call as the degrees of freedom or mobility. Okay, so here to find the degrees of freedom, we are going to use the equation, Grubler equation. So degrees of freedom F is equal to 3 into n minus 1 minus 2L minus H. Here F is the mobility or degrees of freedom, N is the number of links including fixed link frame, L is joint or single degree freedom, or we can say that this has the number of lower pairs, okay, and H is the number of higher pairs. And here when you are calculating the this mobility or degrees of freedom, if you got F is greater than 0, it we are going to call as the mechanism with F degrees of freedom. It is having some motion. Okay, if F is equal to 0, okay, so what is the, we are going to call that as the statically determinate structure. In class also I explained this one. Okay, if there is no here mobility or degrees of freedom, it is used to describe the how many number of motions are there. Okay, if there is no motion, means what we can say that is the static body or structure. Okay, so that's one. If you got F is equal to 0, that we are going to call as the statically determinate structure. Okay, so next one is one more thing is there, that is F is equal to less than 0. Means some of the problems when you are calculating the mobility or degrees of freedom, you are going to get statically you are going to get F is equal to -1 -2, means less than 0. If you got less than 0, so that we are going to call it as statically indeterminate structure. Means if you are give the motion to that component, that won't sustain. Either it is structure means it doesn't give the motion, but if you are giving, if it is the statically indeterminate structure, means even it is not able to withstand the static load also, it will get fail. Is it clear? Statically determinate structure means that is the structure, it will withstand the load, okay, without transmitting the motion. But statically indeterminate structure means it can't withstand the motion or forces. It will get failure. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next, shall we go to the next? One more important concept is Grashof law. Okay, this Grashof law is, we are going to first thing, it is valid for only 4-bar mechanism. Okay, Grashof law is valid for 4-bar mechanism. Okay, so Grashof law states that for 4-bar mechanisms or 4-bar linkage system, the sum of shortest and longest link of planar quadrantal linkage or mechanism, 4-bar mechanism, is less than or equal to sum of remaining 2 links. Okay, so here sum of length of shortest and longest link. Okay, so you can able to see this mechanism. Here S is the shortest link and L is the longest link. P R and Q are the remaining 2 links. Okay, the length of these two, okay, length of these 2 links are less than or equal to length of S and L. S plus L is less than or equal to P plus Q. Okay, that we are going to call as the Grashof law. Okay, so here we are going to make the inversion of 4-bar mechanism based on the Grashof law. Okay, before going to that, so what is the inversion? This is the important parameter. What is the inversion? Inversion means, so in kinematic, first I will go back to the kinematic chain. In that kinematic chain, last link is connected to first link. For example, this is the kinematic chain. I will consider S is the first link, Q is the second link, P is the third link, and L is the fourth link. Okay, last fourth link is connected to the first link. This is the kinematic chain. Okay, by fixing, if it is the kinematic chain, so if you are not fixed any link, so you can't get the motion. If you are moving this one, it will also move. It will also move. Just it is all the links will get moved. You can't achieve the motion. Okay. By fixing this one link, we can achieve some desired motion that we are going to call as the mechanism. The following, by fixing one link of kinematic chain, we can achieve the motion that we are going to call as the mechanism. Okay. By fixing, yes, we can achieve the one mechanism. Okay. Instead of fixing the one link, so by fixing the different links, we can achieve the different mechanism. Okay. So here all are turning pair. Okay. Here, and this one and this one. All four are turning pair. Without changing these turning pairs, by fixing, instead of fixing the S, by fixing the Q, or by fixing the P, or by fixing the L, we can achieve the different mechanisms. That concept we are going to call it as the kinematic inversion. Okay, kinematic inversion means by fixing the different link of the mechanism, we can achieve the different motion or different mechanism. Okay, by fixing one different link of one mechanism, we can achieve the different types of motion or different types of mechanism that we are going to call as the kinematic inversion. Okay, so here we are going to study the different inversion, four inversion of this mechanism. Okay, by using the Grashof law. Okay, so Grashof law, first inversion we are going to consider shortest link is fixed. We will fix the shortest link. Okay, so condition, Grashof law condition for double crank mechanism is S plus L should be is greater than P plus Q. It will become greater than. So let's, S is shortest link is fixed, longest link L, and P and Q are the remaining. Here, what is the double crank mechanism means? Both here input and both output will rotate entire 360 degree. Okay, that we are going to call as the double crank mechanism. Okay, so if the link is rotate entire 360 degree, that we are going to call as the crank. If it is follower also rotates 360 degree, this will also become crank. Crank and crank means double crank mechanism. So again, if it is rotates 360 degree, if it is oscillate for certain angle, so crank and follower mechanism, crank and rocker mechanism. If the link rotates continuous entire 360 degree, we are going to call it as the crank. If it is oscillate for certain angle, we are going to call it as the rocker. Okay, that's only we are going to get the crank and crank mechanism, or double crank, crank and rocker mechanism, or double rocker mechanism, rocker and rocker mechanism. Okay, here by fixing the shortest link, we can achieve the double crank mechanism. Okay, second one is okay, here we are, instead of fixing the shortest link, we are going to fix the remaining, any one of the remaining two links. Okay, here shortest link is the driver and longest link is the connecting. Okay, so that here we can achieve the crank and rocker mechanism. Okay, and next one is, next inversion is, instead of we are not going to change the fixed link. We are going to fix either P or Q. Means in the remaining two links we are going to fix. Instead of the shortest link as the driver, we are going to use longest link as the driver and shortest link as the coupler or connecting rod. Okay, so that in that case we are going to obtain double rocker mechanism. It won't rotate entire 360 degree, but it will have the some angular motion. That is the reason we are going to call as the double rocker mechanism. And last one is, so here also we are going to fix the any one link in the remaining two links. But the thing is here, this will give that S plus S, L is equal to P plus Q, means summation of length of shortest link plus largest link is equal to sum of length of remaining two links, means P plus Q is equal to S plus L. So to achieve this one, what we'll do, shortest link we are going to use the driver. Okay, P and Q we are going to use. Here one link means driven link. Okay, so last link it is equal to first link and coupler equal to fixed link. Okay, means we are going to make that opposite links are equal. Okay, we are going to make that opposite links are equal. So this one we are going to call it as the parallelogram linkages. Okay, now? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next is drag link mechanism. Just briefly, I will tell you the mechanism here. It is also inversion of four-bar mechanism, inversion of four-bar mechanism. This is having sum of shortest link plus longest link is less than length of remaining two links. Here, link 2 is the driver and link 4 is the driven, but driver will rotates in uniform speed and driven is rotates in non-uniform speed. Okay, what will happen when it is rotating at this particular center? So this is the longest link, it will rotate like this on this way. Okay, so from angle alpha B1 to B2, from here to here, when it is crank is moving from here to here, okay, this will move from C1 to C2. Okay, when it is here, B is here, C will reaches to C1. Again, when continues to rotate to B2 in clockwise direction, this C will move from C1 to C2. Means what will happen when it is C1 to C2 means this E will come from E1 to E2. Okay. Similarly, when it is again continues to rotate from B2 to B1, okay, this will moving from E2 to E1 because it will move from C2 to C1. So when it is moving like this, so it will you can able to see here when C is here, okay, when C is here, he will reaches to this E2. Again, when it is moving in clockwise direction, so this E will start move from E2 to E1. Okay, so what will happen? Because this B is rotating at uniform speed, this crank is rotating at uniform speed. Okay, so from here to here it is moved. From here to here, when it is moving, it will take more time, right? Compared to this one. Okay, so when it is moving from E2 to E1, it will take more time. When it is moving from B1 to B2, okay, means from E1 to E2, it will take very less time because alpha is greater than beta. So it will take very less time. Is it clear? Okay, so we'll go to the next one, Whitworth quick return mechanism. This is also one of the quick return mechanism. Okay, this here, see inversion. This is the inversion of slider crank mechanism. So what will happen? So this this the link 2 is fixed. Okay, link 3 rotate about O. Sorry, rotate about B. When it is rotating here, just to consider this is the center. Okay, this is the center of this circle. Means that this B and C circle. Okay, when it is C at C1, when it is C at C1, what will happen? This D will come to this point. Okay, so means E will be at E1. When it is continues to rotate, when it is moving from here to here, so what will happen? This D will move from here to here. So this when D reaches to D2, it will push the E to E2. Okay, from this E from E1 to E2. Okay, so again, when it is continuous to rotate from C2 to C1, okay, so it will move back from here to here. So what will happen? This from E2 to E1 is the slower stroke, means forward stroke, and E1 to E2 is the return stroke. It will take less time. So if you want to make from here to here slower one and here to here faster one, just we are going to put the B below the A. Okay, now this is the working of Whitworth quick return mechanism. Okay, So next is crank and slotted lever mechanism. Okay, so it is the inversion of slider crank mechanism. Here link 3 is fixed. Okay, so link 3 is fixed. Link 2 rotates about B. Link 2 rotates about B again. So this link 4 is having the slot and link 1 is slides on the slotted lever. Okay, so when come to the working, when it is this BA, this BA rotates. Okay, when it is rotating from here to here, okay, this D will move from here to here and E will move from here to here. Okay, again when A from A2 to A1, so this D will come back to D1. So it will take, it is less angle, so it will take less time. It is the quick return motion. Okay, so because of alpha is greater than beta or beta is less than alpha, so it will achieve the quick return motion. Is it clear? And last thing, important thing is, so I will wind up with this. So straight line motion mechanisms. Okay, straight line motion mechanisms having a point that move along the straight line or near along the straight line without being guided by any plane surface. Okay, so the one point will move exactly straight line or near to that straight line. Okay, based on that one, we are going to classify into two types. One is exact straight line mechanism. Okay, guides a reciprocating parts in exact straight line. Okay, that is the Pecilier mechanism, Art's mechanism, Scott-Russell mechanism. Okay, here it will, the point will move in exact straight line. In approximate straight line, it is, here we have the statement, right, nearly along the straight line. It will applicable for approximate straight line mechanism. In approximate straight line mechanism is designed in such a way that midpoint and two extreme point that will take on the straight line. Okay, that will guided by the straight line. Okay, intermediate position may be deviate. Okay, so from, for example, one, if you consider the straight line, so a starting point is A, midpoint is B, and end point is C. So okay, that is the straight line. Okay, in that case, when the point is moving from, starting from A, and it will reach as the midpoint B, and again it will reach as the midpoint C. So, but it may not move in the straight line. It may deviate from the straight line, but it will reach as the midpoint and it will reach as the end point C. Okay, that we are going to call as the approximate straight line. Okay, so the examples are Roberts mechanism, Watt's mechanism, Grashofer mechanism. Okay, so along with this, we can stop here. Up to this one, so you will get the questions in first module. Okay, you may get the so you may so I won't give any problem. Okay, so you will get the theory questions for 30 questions. Is it clear?
Sir, the remaining mechanisms won't come?
No, you just you go through that one. You here, one thing is, you won't get any explanation questions. Okay, maybe